unwillingly mine. Fate up against your will, through the thick and thin, he will wait until.
Hey, how's it going, universe? Welcome to another episode of ZooBox, a podcast about nonsense. And today we have some nonsense for sure. The country in flames, cancel culture ramping up at high speeds, autonomous zones in Seattle. Michael's not going to be here with us today. We'd like to give a big congratulations to old Mikey. He had his first ZooBox baby.
Yeah.
First ZooBox era child born to the podcast. Dan will be next. There's probably some dumpster pirate he hangs out with.
Well, after the weekend he had when he came home, he's probably got a couple.
What are you talking about, baby? That's every weekend, baby.
He's got COVID. He's fucked.
I'm bringing it with me, boys.
Radiculopathy. You should fight that radiculopathy judgment. I'm just saying.
Already been doing that, my man. Don't worry. It's in the process.
Like, you can't tell me how I feel.
Yeah.
If you were a black guy, you could totally get it now. Right now would be your moment to be like, I'm claiming 100%. And they'd be like, okay, why? I'm black. Like, okay.
I know.
This would be the moment.
Will this age well?
What age well? What?
Just a statement.
What, racism?
I mean, listen, dude. They pulled Gone with the Wind off of fucking HBO Max because it
Yes.
It's not a fair, because I guess like the director of 12 Years a Slave fucking wrote an op-ed.
Yeah, he wrote an op-ed.
Recently?
Yes.
Yeah, like yesterday.
They did it within a day. It happened in the same day. I got some Twitter heat, boys. I got some Twitter followers ingratiating myself with a certain wing of the Twitter community. They're loving me right now.
Oh,
shit
boy.
posters.
But no, not the shit posters. Like, film writers have started to follow me, and other
really?
Yeah, genre, like real people, yeah. And I'm trying to make inroads, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but I made this point. I was just like, you know, how can all of these people that write these critics, because everybody's just like, oh, nobody's even watched that movie anyways. All the people complain about this probably never even seen it.
Gone with the Wind?
Yeah, the MAGA.
Isn't that considered one of the all-time greatest movies?
Yeah, but it's a historical artifact, right? It's a time and a place for our country, and it shows you, it's like a cultural touchstone for the time. So that's what movies and books, you know, from the past, they're a doorway, but they're also a reminder of how far we've come. And writers will talk about it. Nobody will talk about it. All they want to talk about is about how all the incel bros they're complaining about Gone with the Wind, and maybe they made a decision for their company. I was like, this is the state of it right here. They're going to take the side of a major company that's just trying to pander to this asshole who wrote 12 Years a Slave, which is also disgusting because he's a working writer. He's a working writer.
In his defense,
what?
In his defense, he did say, "I am not in favor of censorship of any art." He did say that. No, he goes, "I just don't
take it down."
Well, no, he didn't. He said basically, I think that is being pretty. People are being pretty disingenuous because they didn't read the article. He does state that at least for this moment in time,
yeah, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah, like we need to be showing more.
Who the fuck is concerned about Gone with the Wind and getting bad ideas from Gone with the Wind? Seriously.
Yep.
Is there bad ideas? Like, is there something inherently?
It just shows you the antebellum South.
And it's from the view of a very affluent, rich Mexican playing a white guy.
Plantation,
sure.
No, Clark Gable. Plantation owner.
Right. So, but in the service of the film, which is ironic because it's the first time an African American won an Academy Award for anything. And it's the same thing.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
thank you.
Shut up, Whitey.
Thank you for your and it was showed a depiction of African Americans at that time that made it look like they were pleased to be a slave for the master.
Well, what about, so it's only a matter of time before they go after To Kill a Mockingbird then, which they already kind of have in the past, haven't they?
What happens, have you guys ever seen 12 Years a Slave?
Yes, it's in theaters, actually.
Right. You know how that movie ends?
Yeah, the white man
Dave,
saves them.
white Canadian guy.
Yep.
Oh, I know it's
Brad
historically
Pitt.
accurate. Really, I mean, when we're talking optics here, because this is a time and place where black people need to be empowered, and any help from white people in movies, not okay with me. Okay, I'm a woke white man, and I'm telling you
Do it
right
on
now.
your own.
Hold on, where's my Twitter?
So maybe they'll have an issue with Christopher Nolan's new movie because
Well,
he's a white
funnily
lead or a
enough,
black lead with a white co-star.
in Minneapolis, they just ripped down a statue of Columbus.
Oh, that was
Just like-
Boston.
Was it Boston? I swear it was.
I think it's
Oh,
all
no.
over the world actually, because in the UK they're ripping shit down.
Yeah, but Columbus is an interesting one to me. I was like,
Oh,
really?
because Christopher Columbus sets the chain of events in motion that allow you to tear his statue down. That's the great irony of that.
I got yeah. Then you know what? Might as well Ferdinand Magellan too. Fuck him.
Well,
That's what I'm
I,
saying. You don't exist. This doesn't happen. You're not here. None of this matters if Christopher Columbus doesn't exist.
I have no issues with people taking statues down as long as it's under in a democratic sense. So people in those communities should vote whether or not they'd like.
Oh,
to
they're
have some
voting.
statues.
They're voting by ripping it down.
No, well, from a logical standpoint, that's how I think it should be done.
Yeah,
Kinda
like form a lobby.
and then what Tim Pool said is that you put a plaque there commemorating why the statue is there and why you took it down, so we don't forget our past, and so we're not like I don't have any issue with people doing that. I mean, the same thing happened in the South Carolina State House in Columbia, where the whole Confederate flag issue, where eventually they took it down.
But there was also the there was
From the
another
government,
famous
wasn't it?
the Charlotte. Charlotte was an example of
Well,
that.
I don't really care about that. They lost. Okay, they fucking lost. Like, at some point you're gonna be like, okay, let it go, guys. Like,
the
let's-
Confederacy.
you lost. You're war criminals. Technically, you lost. And I get it. I get it. Heritage, and I understand. I respect. I appreciate that. But as a dirty Northerner, as a kid raised in Massachusetts, I'm like, you fuckers lost. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I remember when I moved down here, it was like the most shocking thing. People would bring up the Civil War to me. Like, I was 18. They're like, what do you think about the Civil War? What? I think you lost, bitch.
Well, I think also, I don't know if this was in the United States. I think it was somewhere in the UK. They defaced Abraham Lincoln statue.
No, that was in the United States. It was the Lincoln Memorial.
No, it wasn't the Lincoln Memorial.
Yes, it was. You can look it up. Yes, it was.
The Lincoln
Yes,
Memorial.
like the Lincoln Memorial was the face.
The giant Lincoln statue.
It was the face.
Well, they posted troops there. They posted some military presence there.
After the first defacement.
No, but there was one. Ryan's talking about one that in the UK where there is some sort of monument to Abraham Lincoln, and they were attacking it. They also attacked one that was meant to commemorate all of the black people that died.
Yeah, the 54th Regiment in
died
Massachusetts.
in the Civil War, like to abolish slavery.
Well, I think the best way to put this into words, though, is just to say, do we need these reminders?
Yes.
Do we?
Yeah,
I mean, in the sense of like,
it's our history.
it is our history, and I agree. But like if you go to Germany, like they don't hold up Nazis as a part of their history. Like they don't even acknowledge it.
Sure?
Would you put
Yes, I've been to
well,
Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, Germany. They've completely, literally whitewashed.
Yeah. Like
But
they
did commit, mass genocide.
Yeah, I don't know if I would
Like a
put.
span
I
of-
don't know if I would say that the filthy, disgusting Confederates. I don't know if I would put them in the same category as Nazis. That's a different thing because you got to think about the social context of the time and what was going on, and also. Then do we put every other country that had slaves and continue to have slaves after that? Like, are they Nazis?
I'm not going to put out the exact numbers because I'm not sure, but I do know that a very large amount of Africans were transported to this side of the world, and I believe it was something like 15 to 20,000 were in the United States. Those are the original slaves.
Yeah.
It was not a big. It was South America that was really big on slavery.
Yeah, I know it's canceled.
And in those in like the islands and stuff in the Caribbean.
The whole country.
I mean, everybody was fucking big on slavery, honestly.
Yeah.
At any
the history
point
of
in time,
humanity.
right?
Well, let's just say this much. I mean, hey, you know, people are fucking
Let me
freaking
ask
out.
you
They're
guys a question.
pissed. It's fine, whatever.
Let me ask you a
Like,
question. Have you ever met a slave? Okay, exactly. They don't exist.
well, I mean, technically,
Hoax. Confirmed hoax.
in the Islam world, it's definitely in the Muslim world. There's
No,
definitely a lot
in
of
India,
places.
they're still there. They have a caste system that is basically indentured servitude. I mean,
Yeah.
there's awful shit that goes on, and I'm not saying that makes an excuse or that it's a good thing or that people shouldn't be conscious
Well,
of it.
we've moved on, obviously, from that ideal.
In America,
Yeah.
supposedly not.
Not if you
Not
go on.
enough.
Not if you listen to some of the crazier rhetoric is out there.
Well, did you guys watch the committee on police brutality and stuff?
No, I didn't
today?
listen. No, I didn't.
I watched some of it, and the response given by George Floyd's brother in response to, like, you know, how do you feel about the rioting and looting and all this like stuff that's like, you know, we're having innocent people die because of this, and he basically gives the response that, you know, his brother probably wouldn't have wanted it again and stuff like that, and there is some serious issues within our political system that are enabling these people. It's enabling. It's complete pandering, and I
Enabling
think
what?
enabling the idea of like defunding the police department. There was a pastor that gave a 9-minute opening speech that I do recommend anyone to go listen to, because he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and he kind of breaks it down over the past 20, 30 years, the defunding of the police department and what that's led to in their communities, and how they have been superseding Chicago, which is usually the murder rate capital of the United States, in the past like couple years because of the defunding of the police.
Yeah, I've actually been reading a lot of interesting articles written by some ex-police officers, current police officers, people that are actually quitting because they're like,
Yeah.
what's the point? Like, you're not gonna. First, you make us become social workers. You make us do all these things that we're not really equipped for, and that's something I had never really considered. The police kind of get called for everything. It's no longer, you know, since I would say the 1970s, 1960s. What it means to be a police officer is very different today than it was like 30 or 40 years ago.
Well, I mean,
And I'm not saying this does not mean I don't think there's not fucking problems in the police departments. I think there clearly is. But yeah, it definitely gave me a little bit more of perspective on when I just thought about it. Things that I kind of knew, but
people are arguing kind of that point for the defunding of the police so they could have trained professionals take over those roles.
what are you gonna send who are you gonna send to a
I
domestic
don't know.
violence?
Listen,
A fucking
I'm not saying
counselor?
I agree with it. I'm just saying they have all these flashy, hot graphics that are going all over the internet. You know what I mean? that systemic racism thing. That video was a huge hit.
Yeah, well, actually, Ben Shapiro does a pretty good breakdown, and there is some acknowledgement in that video that is real, but they ignore a lot of the facts that actually.
Well, like,
they
why
don't
are
bring
we
up everything.
ignoring socioeconomics?
Because this is an irrational emotional response to something just on a mass level. Like, you're seeing mob mentality kind of take over the country where people really are not thinking to the bottom of these issues. They're not getting the why of the why.
How do you guys feel about, you know, people being demonized because white silence is white violence? That's like I've actually, some of my friends, unnamed, or one of them specifically, kind of shared that.
Yeah.
Said that white people, white people need to speak up at this time. If they don't, then I see you. I see you.
Yeah, but then if you you speak up, you're going to be told to shut the fuck up because why do you get to speak for black people?
No, the only time it's
trap.
acceptable. It's only a time acceptable is when you agree with every piece of the rhetoric, when you agree with every ideal that they have.
Or you'll get down on your knees and wash their feet in a park.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you guys see that? It's kind of crazy.
All over the country, weird cultish shit. We're ideologically driven, clearly not motivated by anything.
Why are we removing the individual?
That's my point, buddy.
That's what Jordan Peterson's been advocating for since we came out, really.
Like, that is what
he's advocating.
That is the absolute least racist thing anybody could do.
What?
Is to treat someone as an individual and judge them on an individual basis.
Yeah.
Like,
preach it, Whiting.
Like, in a crazy thing is, so, you know, we all know how George Floyd died, and I see an article about a man, another African American man that was murdered to death under the same set of circumstances in May of last year, And I watched the video, and it's a dude that is described as an African-American man pointing a gun and doing something or whatever. And they get there, and the dude ends up being high on meth, and he runs from the cops, and they throw him down, no knee on the neck, none of that, and he's complaining about he's not able to breathe. And then he is like, when they pick him up to put him on the stretcher, he does like a kung fu move. He's like, ha! Like tries to kick people and shit. I'm like, this is no way. He was completely conscious, and everything was like working, and then he ended up dying later. But it's using, like, and the Black Lives Matter, I believe it was Oklahoma, they're going, oh, well, this is another example, him saying he can't breathe. You know, it's like these guys aren't fucking medical professionals. I mean, they have basic life-saving procedures, but how many times do they see a guy pretend to be asleep, pretend to do something, and then they fucking go buck cherry on their ass? You know what I mean?
I can, but
Dude,
still.
that's what I do when I get pulled over, dude. I just pretend I'm sleeping. I just fucking stop, and I just...
Okay,
oh, what? What's going on?
The hypocrisy of it all, you know, nobody has any issue demonizing and calling the police as a whole Nazis and villainizing them and all this other type of shit. But once you try to do that to people on the basis of the color of their skin, then it's an issue. So why is one thing okay and the other thing's not? Like, I don't understand why you can attribute all these terrible and evil characteristics towards a profession.
Well, I think through a generational causation by the education system, the leftist-leaning ideology in our politics, especially from the Democrats, has started creating
That's another thing.
Well, it started creating protected classes. It protected people like transgender people or LGBTQ, IAAQ, whatever the plus skin.
I have no issue with that if it's necessary.
Well, no, because there is no protected class. That's how you got white people enslaving. Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, people who can't fend for themselves, like elderly, and we should have certain protections. Veterans, of course.
You know what's another crazy thought that came across my mind? Everybody wants to talk about systemic racism, systemic this. Who have been in the people in position of power in these places for the past fucking since the 50s?
Well, you look at
it's all Democratic-run enclaves.
Look at Baltimore as an example. Baltimore, at the time of the Freddie Gray death, had a black mayor, a black chief of police. The 90% of the entire leadership within the police department was black, and the police officer, the arresting officer, and the way Freddie Gray died was in officer custody. He was in the back of a vehicle, ended up breaking his back, and that started riots.
Yeah, but this is the problem, because you have those examples, or you have Democratic leadership in all these cities where there's the most problems. Part of it is just because they're in urban areas, they're very tightly knit, so you're just going to have more problems, honestly, just because of that. But I think the thing that people are missing here is that there is a narrative being built by self-appointed intellectual, the intelligentsia of the country. They work at newspapers, they work at the Silicon Valley companies or these tech companies. They are now all getting in positions of authority and power because there is a kind of a Marxist and postmodern thing at the bottom of all this, where they want to actually get poor people to kill each other to dismantle the system. Yep. That's what they're doing. They're inciting people to violence, and they're just going to take whoever's the most vulnerable, whoever's the most desperate, that group of people, and they're going to try to pit everybody against each other. And you see this. You've been seeing this for 10 years in the media. This is a long-term project that's kind of coming to fruition. Like, this is a real cultural moment. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing an actual literal shift in culture that is going to actually have weight.
So specifically ideologies, especially when they're able to take over a little district or whatever in Seattle.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I kind of find it all to be moot point bullshit, because all they have is in the moment. There's no longevity to the cause.
They're also not scaring a lot of people.
They're scaring people, but Dan, you just kind of took up for that dude who wanted to get fucking HBO Max to drop that movie because he thought it was bad for the time.
I'm not sticking up for him. I just put it in context of what he actually said.
Yeah, but how does it make it better?
It doesn't make it better. It's not about making it better. What I'm saying is, within the context, he didn't want to cause censorship, according to his words, and I think it was fair to represent him accurately.
No, but what I'm saying is, but people are taking stuff like that, and then they are kind of just buying into it. They just accept it.
Yeah.
And now we're at this moment where people are being overly sensitive. I mean, like TV shows are getting pulled off of streaming services like Cops
dude.
and
Cops
Live
got canceled.
PD. They're trying to cancel. They're trying to go after Paw Patrol because it has a positive depiction of a
They
police
went out.
officer.
They went after Legos.
They go after Legos. They go after all this shit. And And this started in the pop culture stuff. This started in pop culture commentary in about 2014.
But not only are they going after them, they're succeeding.
Yes.
They're getting
Well, it's because
everything they
it's-
want, which is kind of
it's the
crazy.
it's the power of the mob. It's always going to be there, and when it comes down to the fucking dollars and cents, people are going to fucking back down. That is
But
the reality.
This might.
They won't be respected, but they will be back down.
No, because people are willing to be violent. Political violence is being normalized.
I don't
That's
think
the difference. That's the difference.
it's being normalized by
The media.
some of the media. Not go watch Tucker Carlson. You can't cut.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson
cut
just
the
got
Tucker.
fucking shit on.
Yeah,
No,
they're
he
trying.
didn't.
They're trying to get him
They're
pulled off
trying to.
the
They're
air.
going after him.
Yeah,
He's
I
going
know.
after Black
Of
Lives
Of course,
Matter.
they're going after me. Speaking truth.
No, but
That's
they're
why.
they're going after his sponsors, which at
That's
some
what you
point,
do.
if you think dollars and cents matter, then at
Yeah.
some point Fox is going to have to cancel him.
And he just Fox won't do it.
He
man.
is the most
They probably will.
popular.
He is the most popular
So-
dude next to Sean Hannity.
I think he's the number one.
He is the
No,
number one.
I thought Sean Hannity
For his,
was. But,
for his demographic, he's number one.
oh, he's number one.
And he talks to a lot of young people.
But this is the thing. Listen, I've literally seen, because I stay plugged in, man. I am in the Matrix, so I'm plugged in. I'm watching like what's going on Facebook, where and it's pandering from both sides. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Like, the left is pandering and the right is pandering. They're trying, like Candace Owens put out this video. It was interesting perspective. But then it becomes a part of like the national conversation, and then you have people from the left saying, well, she's not really black, so she has no representation. She's selling out the black community for money, and that she is, she did it to be the quote unquote token black chick on the right, so for money.
But if you follow her, when this first all went down, she was totally all about it.
Well, she was
out there
about
protesting and
yeah, she did some good things, but it really comes down to the sense of, well, is Candace Owens doing this for the good of black Americans, good of America, whatever?
Yeah.
It's like when you have Thomas Sowell or you have Ben Carson.
Oh, dude, do not put Candace Owens on the level of Thomas Sowell.
No, it's not putting her on the level. These are people who are considered to be not black in America.
but black.
Sure, I mean, but Candace Owens is like kind of just so separate from that shit because she's a fucking shitlord that like worked for Turning Point USA. I mean, that's kind of what she's a provocateur. She's not. If people take her seriously, they're just being kind of dumb.
Well, I mean, being I can't say the word. You know what I'm saying? I can't say it.
Provocateur?
If she's being a provocateur, thank you. That doesn't mean that's bad. And that is the way our culture is now to get information out. If you're not doing it through some sort of like direct action, people won't listen to you.
Do you
man,
think
unless
that was
you're
her
Jordan Peterson.
her intention though? Because all she was just trying to speak her truth.
She started on YouTube.
She does this all the time. This is not like a new thing. This just is the first time it really broke past like her audience, right?
But wouldn't you agree
But
that
she's
it's
gone
more
viral.
of a
She's gone viral like 5 times.
it's
not
more of a nuanced opinion than it's not, right? It's not just this generalized statement.
She's saying not to idolize George Floyd because
and you shouldn't.
and she's going. He was not at the end of the day what you would call, quote unquote, her words, a good person.
Yeah.
And that may be true. He still doesn't deserve to die the way he did. Absolutely not.
And nobody's saying that. I haven't met one person who is not okay.
Yeah,
Who is okay with any of that.
Exactly. I haven't met anyone either, honestly.
This whole like white guilt thing is it takes me aback, and to recognize your privilege and
Like the sins of the father thing, like you have to pay for the sins of everything that's ever happened.
so you're like, so the answer to be anti-racist is to be racist against white people, and it's okay to generalize white people. It's okay to say that you never worked for anything because you were given it because of the color of your skin. It's okay.
Because basically this is the modern theme from what we can say is happening today. You have inherited your sin. You have inherited it from your ancestors.
Hey, your ancestors are chilling. There ain't no slave ownership in this family.
Yeah, but then that doesn't matter. By proxy of being white, you have inherited their sin.
No, you
I'm
benefit from
Spanish.
this. You benefit from the system that is created around.
We're
people that
Spanish.
live-
But that's what I'm. Yeah, okay. But
We're
like, that's-
Jews.
but like that is the type of rhetoric that I've been seeing is, it's our inheritance. That's the way they look at it.
Dude, and LeBron James is such a piece of shit. Listen, I have no issue with him speaking up on issues and using his
Just
platform in a
dribble.
way-
Just dribble the ball, LeBron.
I have no issues with him doing
But
that.
Drew Brees, he's a good guy. Let him talk.
But as soon, and he wants to act all high and mighty and call out Drew Brees and this, that, and the other. But when a GM said something negative about China and said free Hong Kong, he didn't have a fucking word to say. Well, those people are oppressed. Like they're fighting for democracy. They're fighting for their voice.
Well,
he
they
had
just
nothing
got
to say about that. Not only did he have nothing to say about that, he criticized the Rockets GM for saying something because it put them in danger.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
money.
Yeah, there's
Dollars and
like
cents.
there was like I don't know if it was on Twitter, if it was a meme I saw. They're like, thank you. It's like, thank you for speaking up, LeBron. I'm glad the Chinese government has like taken you
Yeah.
off the leash.
But if he would have said something at that moment, then I think more people would take what he's saying seriously. And especially when you're fucking out there shilling for Hillary Clinton. Like,
Well,
what are we doing?
It's a good reminder of like, just because you're fucking rich and famous doesn't mean you should have like be listened to.
You guys see what happened to Marky Mark, bro?
Or they try to bring up the 30-year-old
Ooh.
shit
Oh, the
5 cases of hate crimes, Shaun? 5?
back when he was a teenager. Yeah,
Fucking pretty
Wow,
wild. I'm just
really?
saying.
Holy crap.
and
Yeah,
he
dude,
tried
beat-
to. I know he
beat-
gave
He
money.
beat an Asian man till he
I
was
know
blind
that.
in one eye.
I
He
know
was Korean
that.
guy, yeah.
No, I say we cancel him, dude. I don't want to see him in Hollywood ever again. We'll see it.
We all. It's just. It's a lot of.
No,
it's
do
very
you know what? Do you
fatiguing.
know what this really comes? No, you know what this really comes down to? Be like Quentin Tarantino. Be like Robert Downey Jr. Be like these guys. Like
Man,
you know, like,
Quentin Tarantino fucks kids 100%. He's a weirdo.
I know he may be a weirdo.
Over there, fucking defending Roman Polanski. Fuck that. Fuck Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino.
Yeah,
I
but
love
that
his
was long-
movies.
That
Can
was
you
also like
separate-
20 years ago.
Can you
but-
separate the artist?
What do you mean?
from
That
the
was on
film?
the Howard Stern show.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago. It was an
Oh,
old
wow.
clip.
Still,
Uh,
fuck him. Fucking nasty bastard. Look at him, Shaun. He looks like a sniveling fuck. Like, he looks.
Yes, he loves feet.
But there has to be a sense of the reason why they were so respected and they continue to make movies because they don't apologize. You know, like they don't like what Robert Downey Jr. did. Like he has never really apologized for.
No,
So as far as going blackface in Tropic Thunder, should he apologize? Should
No.
that movie?
No.
You know what I mean? But that's the difference between legends
Jimmy
like this.
Fallon shouldn't apologize either.
No, Jimmy Fallon should not have apologized, but he works for a fucking multi-billion-dollar corporation who's going to fucking demand it of him.
well,
Yeah, I'm curious
you
what those conversations are
you
like.
cannot take things in the past and then judge them by the social mores of today. Like, obviously, you couldn't do that today, right? But in 2008, guess what? You could. You got away with it.
Technically,
So you can't. Well, you could, but it'd probably be a bad idea. But you could. But you could. It happened in 2008, right? People were okay with it. People were okay with it.
Like, look at
Black people- I mean,
iDubbbz.
it got a little bit of heat back in 2008. It got a little bit of criticism, but because that is the point of the joke for Robert Downey Jr.'s
Yeah.
character, it kind of just disappeared. And the same thing when they tried to bring it up a few months ago. The same thing happened.
Yeah.
Because people actually will come out and because they've seen the movie and they will be like, no, it's different. Black people, white
Yeah.
people, everybody's like, nah, it's different.
But like,
But
how
the
does
thing is-
iDubbbz, dude? Look at iDubbbz.
He caught flack.
Yeah, he
He's
caught
just
flack. He's still
unapologetic.
around. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. You can't apologize for your interpretation of the world. I guess, in a sense, as an
No.
artistic viewpoint.
You can't judge something that you did fucking years ago based on like how people feel about the world today. It's like perspective shift. The mores and the values as a broad culture we have change. If we go back to the 90s, like it's a different fucking planet. You know, in terms of what people could do in entertainment and stuff, it's like a different fucking planet. Jimmy
It is a
Kimmel,
different
right?
planet,
He
dude.
dressed up like fucking Chris Rock on SNL.
And Chris
15
Rock said he
years
was
ago.
cool with it too.
Oh yeah, because he's a fucking comedian.
Did he
But-
recently come out and say that, or at
Yeah.
the time he said that?
Yeah, he came out and defended him.
So why the fuck did Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon
Because it was after.
apologize?
It was emotional, instant reaction to this. Like I'm sure ABC
As
called him like,
they-
"Yo, dude, this is catching traction."
Cowards.
No, but that's the thing. I guess it's like show cowardice in the face of adversity. And that's what I think we've been seeing a lot. But then again, like the Confederate flag stuff, where the NASCAR went out and said, "Hey, no more Confederate flags at our stuff." They rolled out the Black Lives Matter car. Everyone took a knee.
Well, Black Lives Matter is
It
making
was
a
a-
lot of money, boys.
It was a big old hoopty.
I thought like what? I thought there was a point where the people were like highly critical of Black Lives Matter, and
Well, they were critical of some of the people involved because they ended up being kind of fraudulent, and we all forgot about that. So.
Yeah, and they also were like, like I think anyone, like even Killer Mike, like, sorry, dude, I kind of like some of your views, but when you support Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam, who's a fucking late fucking Jew-hating piece of shit.
Yeah, that's like Ice Cube has been going on this QAnon Twitter tear.
No
like,
shit.
Posting like red-pilled woke shit, but it's all tons of it's mixed with like Nazi propaganda-y type of Louis Farrakhan anti-Semite shit. Because all that stuff, those QAnon dudes and that whole subculture, that whole conspiracy subculture, they hate Jews. They hate the fucking Jews.
It all goes back to 9/11.
It all goes what goes back longer than that, my friend.
you talking about the 30s?
It goes back to
20s,
fucking like when
bankers?
Jews became bankers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes. So
I love how it's okay to just shit on
okay.
Jews.
It's okay for Ice Cube to do this.
Hey,
Right?
Ben Shapiro's the #1 most targeted Jew in the world.
I don't doubt it.
No.
John's like, I support him. I'm
He
part
says
of the
that all
Mud Club or whatever.
He said that for like fucking 2 years, man. That was like
He spells-
everything. That's the #1 most targeted. Dude, actually, do you know Andrew Schultz?
Yeah.
You know, he was on Joe Rogan the other day, and he goes, because they were talking about Greta Thunberg, how she's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And then fucking he goes, you know who's also on the spectrum? Ben fucking Shapiro. Have you ever fucking talked to that guy? Like, turn it off, man. Turn it off. Because it's like, hey man, what'd you think of Black Panther? Well, actually, the oppression of black people started back in 19. He's just like, and that's probably pretty true.
No, it is
good episode.
He's a guy that's gonna go into everything you bring up. He's a savant type. Because I mean, this guy was a child prodigy.
Yeah.
He played violin and shit. I saw it.
Done with Harvard Law School at the time he's like 22 years old. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
he was writing for Breitbart at 18. He wrote a book when he was 17. Like,
Fuck you, Ben.
Just wrote another one.
I love
Three
you.
ways to destroy the United States, whatever.
Three
I mean,
steps or whatever. Yeah.
I wish people, I don't love Ben Shapiro all the time, but I do think like he is, out of all of those people, the most even keeled, the most like down the middle. Like, you want the down the middle median conservative opinion. That is what he's
and then
gonna
right
give you.
off to the left is Tim Pool, and they should come together.
Become a super team.
Well, they agree on a lot. If you listen,
Call
to
it
them
the Pool of
speak.
Shap or something.
Yeah, but they might disagree on things that are actually more fundamental, like because there's a lot of overlap in everything.
dude.
You could talk to
Tim-
these Antifa people, dude. You'll probably agree with some of the things they say. You're
Tim,
probably
Tim
like,
Pool is turning more and more conservative by the week.
everybody.
It is so like
Everybody
dude,
just starts the business and
I'm
starts.
telling you, this is
He's like
the
very
final.
angry right now too.
Who, Tim Pool?
Yeah, he's very angry.
He's a fucking little bald angry man. It's okay.
He's calling out everybody. He's apologizing.
Yeah.
Should.
He's like Jimmy Fallon should never be allowed to be a comedian ever again.
Well, they're just spineless. And
Well,
once people, like Dan was saying, once their dollar's threatened,
But what I'm saying is, dude, that's
Fucking
what I'm
fall in
talking
line.
about. That's what I'm talking about this cultural shift, dude. That when these figureheads of your culture, your pop culture, and people that people hero worship, sports stars, when they start capitulating, that sends a fucking message down to the bottom, down to the trailer park. When Drew Brees comes on bended knee and apologizes for saying fucking it's the most uncontroversial thing on the goddamn planet.
yeah.
Like, that sends ripples all the way down to.
And they're not even showing the
NASCAR
entire
boys.
statement. They're not even showing the entire
No, I know.
statement, which is like
I feel like they're also reshaping and re-imaging or reframing rather Colin Kaepernick's original statements and points.
Yeah, because Colin Kaepernick's a fucking idiot.
So now it's not okay to criticize Colin Kaepernick, even though he says Cuba's great and all this that.
well,
you
no,
know.
Che Guevara, and then he wore the pig socks, and there was definitely some animosity that was being thrown his way. But in Colin Kaepernick's defense, he did take a knee.
Which he had every right to do. He can totally do that.
No, he took a knee after sitting, because before it was sitting.
Okay.
Then
so
he
what?
took a knee after talking to a veteran,
Sure.
and a veteran
Yeah,
said,
I have no
take-
issue with that.
You take a knee when you're at like your buddy's grave, when after he died, whatever. Like that's what we did, and it's a sign of respect. So that is actually a really big of Colin Kaepernick, and I think that says something.
I have no problem with Colin Kaepernick
Do I
doing what
agree
he
with his
did.
politics?
I don't have to agree with him to support his right to do something like that, you know. But I do. Every time he opened his mouth, you're like, "Fucking shut up, dude!" Like, make it a silent protest, buddy. But yeah, that's where I am afraid of the cultural shift stuff, because you're just seeing everybody give in because it's too much pressure. I mean, you could get really hurt. People will go after your life, and they might fucking find you on the street. Like, you don't know.
Well, did you guys see the video I sent you before?
Yeah,
you
that's
got
what I was
on.
about to head there, buddy.
Sick.
The
That's
Seattle
good
Autonomous Zone. The Seattle Autonomous Zone, buddy. We've done it. The people have taken it back. The Seattle police just decided, like, fuck it. Here, you want to try?
It's called the
You wanna-
CHAZ, right?
Yeah.
The CHAZ. Yeah.
Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. I think.
Yep. That's
Like
correct.
a fucking cyberpunk movie. And then you go and see footage from inside. It's like a homeless people hellscape.
Well, supposedly they're not letting reporters in, even local reporters.
No,
yeah.
they don't.
Oh,
want anybody in there.
wow.
And then they're making businesses denounce the city. Right? Is it the government of Seattle or something like that?
They've started a fiefdom. And
Yeah.
there's like a warlord guy, the guy that's on that video Dan sent us, of him like, I'm the police. We're the police now.
Yeah, and then the dude's like, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
the guy's
Really?
like, fuck you, dude.
And then-
he's like, fuck that, and then they get in like a little tussle and shit.
Yeah,
because
apparently-
they try to police the
I
guy.
gotta bring up the tweet.
like,
I found somebody, like, because there's
Andy,
people,
no.
No,
also
well,
talks about it.
there's people on Reddit that are there that are posting in Reddit talking
Yeah.
about what's going
Yeah,
on.
that's what Andy.
And
No
they're all
posted.
like, "This is terrifying. Like, we've
Well,
got a warlord on our hands, boys."
They're literally. I think the police literally boarded up the windows and everything. Supposedly put some flame retardant solution
left-
all over the walls.
Yeah.
From
Supposedly
reports
that's not
inside,
true.
reports from the inside is that they just walked in.
Well,
But
I
they
know,
removed all the
but they
guns and
left.
ammunition.
They walked out.
They removed. Listen, they fucking removed all the explosives, guns, ammunition, all the
No.
drugs, all the supply evidence, and then they just left.
Right,
yeah.
but they still walked. They left. Yeah, they left.
Yeah, because I think it was one of these things where you could say, I don't know what the fuck people are trying to say, but
Well, the city count or whoever is in charge of that area is saying this is, or maybe someone in the police. This is a tactic of de-escalation.
yeah, that's called being a fucking pussy.
But I also think
problem.
they just probably lost control and they just hit the.
No, it's exactly what happened in Minneapolis too. They fucking left the police department. They abandoned their post.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, though. I
Yeah,
think they're
no,
doing
I
this
know.
on purpose. I think they're doing this on purpose because you're already seeing it fall apart on the inside. So there's all these people that are like the leadership in there, whatever their little government is, the Antifa people, whatever the fuck they are. Like they let all the homeless people in the area in the city. They invited them to come in. The homeless people stole all the food. So they're on Twitter being like, "Hey, if anybody that's sympathetic to the cause could come
Make sure
drop
it's
off
vegan and bio,
vegan food."
whatever,
It's like a joke. Like you would think this is like a comedy sketch.
Yeah, but they're walking around with guns too, though.
Yeah, because they're
Oh,
not.
America.
It's not. You know, it's like what's his name? Fucking what's that guy's name? Guy who killed Trayvon Martin. Zimmerman.
Yeah, George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman. That's called community policing. Aubrey Abrams. That's called community policing. You think that's going to solve any fucking problems like galaxy brains out there?
No.
So this is a test. Like, look what's going to happen to Minneapolis based on what's going on. It's been like 3 days. It's
Can you
already
believe?
falling apart.
So is the police has officially been disbanded?
Well, they committed.
No, they're
to it.
talking. Look up you don't have to look it up right now, but if people are interested, look up May 4th, 1969, Ontario or Toronto, Canada, Night of Terror. And the police went on strike for like 12 hours and the city nearly fell apart.
It's called the Purge.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was like the purge.
I just can't believe. The United States is one of the youngest nations in the world. Yet we've gone through so much, and probably one of the best places to live in
It
the
is
world.
the best. It's the best.
Well, it's
And
technology.
people just want to just shit on it.
Yes,
I
'cause
mean,
they're
honestly,
fucking-
guys, we need a fucking world war. It's time to go to Iran. It's time to fucking just go in. Like,
Now, Sean, that's a neocon. Okay,
That's a
right there.
neocon.
That's
we
That's
gotta
a-
bring the people together. Okay.
I can tell somebody's
No.
listening to their Ben Shapiro every day.
yeah, Ryan. I'm getting my nice dose. Ryan's probably best friends with John Bolton. But there's
He told me he's got a John Bolton tattoo on his back.
Yeah.
He doesn't show it to anybody, but I've seen it.
I think what we've seen is the death of this stuff. I really don't believe it's a rebirth. I think it's more of a guttural scream before you get
how
your
can
throat
we
slit.
just fucking
in that
ignore
sense.
all the progress that this nation's made? Like,
And this is the thing. Is like we have made a lot of progress. We've made a lot, you know. But there also is taking into the effect. I think it's somewhat fair. I mean, like to say since the '60s, basically, late '60s is when African Americans
60 years ago. It's crazy.
And that's not that long ago. And we've been a country for 200 some odd years, 240 years or something like that. 1776.
Whatever. 300
yeah.
years.
No, Jesus.
I'm just rounding.
Huh?
300 years.
Okay, fair enough. 250. So you sit there, you're like, that's not that long. That's not that long. There is a real complaint there, and there is real problems within the community. It's because maybe it hasn't been long
Try
enough.
to do this shit anywhere else in the world and see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, you'll get fucking crushed. Look at Egypt.
I mean, but this is the problem. That's what I mean. Like, you have to answer the why of the why. Why is something that way? Why is it that way? What happened?
Why don't you tell me, Sean? You gonna
'Cause-
give me some Candace Owens talking points?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Listen, the black people are no good. No, but I'm just saying, like, there was basically a social experiment done in the 60s after Jim Crow, and with all the assistance and the welfare programs and the low-income housing
Affirmative
and
action, equal opportunity.
the way we incentivize success or not becoming successful more actually accurately, it's a failed experiment. It failed those people. It failed poor people in general, but most adversely affected black people, and it has kept black people kind of down. It has, and now we're seeing real societal problems because of it, and nobody in our government has any fucking integrity or balls. None of these activist groups actually want to find real solutions. They want subjugation. They want power. This is a power dynamic.
Yeah.
This is a power play. This has nothing to do with helping people. Nobody will be helped. Literally, nobody will actually really be helped. Maybe we'll get some police reform. Hey, maybe that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, what you're seeing, and what we were talking about, I think last week, Sean, and we were talking about how do we reform policing, or how do we vet police better. Well, this is the exact consequence of all these cops. It's becoming a mass-wide protest for cops. Like cops that are retiring in mass.
Yes,
They're
I
like,
know.
we're done.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not going to fucking do this anymore.
Well, because
they have
governments are turning against them.
375 million interactions a year from
Yeah,
police. And you
100%.
hear about fucking 20.
The bad
Right.
ones. You hear about the bad ones. You don't hear about
So
the good
you have
ones. 'Cause nobody cares.
375 million interactions, and you're going to tell me that, like, you're not going to have some bad eggs or some fucking bad shit go bad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get real, America. You take 375 interactions of anything, you're probably going to have some negative instances. in
I mean,
anything.
like, you came across 375 kids in your life. At some point, you're probably going to fuck one of them.
Oh my God.
That's just my stand. I'm taking my stand.
There's definitely a lot
Dan
to be
agrees.
said.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
He's smiling over there like he knows.
You're sick, man. You're sick. You're sick. Look at me. Do you think this
I've been reading a
could
little
even
bit.
get it, kid? If I wanted to, I'd be spotted a mile away.
They don't let me around them. I don't know why.
Mothers fucking shudder and shelter their children when I walk by. You do that.
Fuck those kids, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Mom, is that Chris Kyle? No, it might be his ghost, though.
But there's got to be some. I don't think it's police, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's not the police's fault. Like, all of this.
No, of course.
It's communities.
It's a huge nuanced issue. It's not just one thing.
And that's why I think, like, when you and I had that disagreement, like, I could understand where the police are coming from, or at least in some sort of a sense. But, like, there is no reason that cops are being walked up, shot in the back of the fucking head. People are being stabbed in the neck. There was an Air Force veteran, not a veteran, an active duty Air Force security
fucking
forces
wild.
guy that fucking went and killed, I believe it was one or two federal
He killed
officers.
one.
Definitely one. Yeah, killed one federal officer, and he's active duty Air Force.
Yeah.
He had
And
a
it's
car full of ammunition and
Yeah, it's This is radicalizing people on either side.
Fucking
And I
gamer bros, dude.
and probably He was probably a
What you got?
fucking loser.
What, a switch
Well,
behind you?
supposedly his wife died. His wife died and shit, and then like he kind of went off the deep end.
Oh, he's just having a bad day.
Yeah. You ever seen
Alright.
Man Falling Down, whatever that shit's called?
Falling down.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I mean, I think there's the problems with the police are I don't even think it's like individual officers' fault. There's like policy shifts that happen post 9/11 that obviously have kind of had a negative impact on the perception of police in communities. There was more of a militarization of police, and the types of people that became police officers were a lot of times shifted from local communities to being from the military. So there was a shift. So there is something there, and I think it's worth talking about. I think it's worth investigating that. There's probably something there on a psychological level, or what happened with the relationship between the police and the public.
Well,
But,
I think it's also fair to.
I mean, the police being violent and corrupt is like not exactly a new idea.
It's not. But
I've
the
been
thing
playing
is,
Mafia too. Let me tell you something.
I'm not for the militarization of police, but also they are encountering militarized forces in the United States. Gangs are not fucking like they're fucking have military grade weaponry, and they're fucking they're using it. So it's like it's a complicated situation.
Yeah, but I would agree in certain areas things are more appropriate, right? But when you have like a little town, maybe they shouldn't have a tank. Like,
well, they don't have tanks. They have
dude, go to
Bearcats.
Keene, New Hampshire. They have a tank.
No, they have a Bearcat.
They got a tank, though.
They might have a water tank.
Actually, no. The tank was the tank was rejected. The town came together and said, "Why do you need a tank?"
Yeah.
Because
Well, you know, shit gets weird out here.
This was like 10 years ago, something like that.
And I think it's really what's going to happen after we see this CHAZ. Is it the CHAZ?
well, it's
Is
not
it
gonna
the-
last. Is it gonna? I wonder if it's gonna be a standoff.
Dude, do you know what, Ryan? Do you know who you sound like? You sound like the fucking loyalist to the fucking British. That's what you sound like. Well, this won't last that long. This will be nothing.
They'll starve themselves and get
Yeah.
served.
Well, dude, all you gotta do is roll that National Guard in there, and they'll probably take care
Yeah,
of it.
the National Guard.
No, I think they'll let it burn. They might just let it go.
I don't know.
I'm
Seattle.
leaning on it.
Dude, Seattle, the fucking mayor of Seattle was like on national television being like, "You're not allowed to talk about the looting being bad. I don't want to demonize these people. They have every right to express themselves," like a fucking lunatic. While they're burning down the fucking businesses of the working class, hard working class people of those communities.
Yeah,
And
after they just
no-
went through one of the worst things they could possibly go
after this pandemic, which is about to pop off again.
Hey.
But it's not because of the protests.
No, it is.
It won't be. No,
Dr.
Chuck,
Bur-
don't you dare.
Well, I
The
think,
National Institute of Health
hold on.
said that racism is a bigger problem than COVID-19.
Are they wrong, bigot?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
No,
believe it.
what I mean was there's two separate things going on. So there are, since the reopenings, now we're starting to see a rise in cases and a rise in deaths. So the daily death toll is going back up. We will find out what happens with these protests in a week and a half, or 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah.
That'd be a
So
good measurement.
I mean, they're already talking about it now. They're like, there's like Fauci finally.
Hey, Tucker Carlson. That's
He
it.
says it's
Tucker Carlson's the only one talking about that shit, boy.
What?
Well, because
Hey, dude,
listen,
listen, every night I get excited because I know I'm going to hear some truth from the Tuck. You can't cuck, dude. I'm sounding like I'm joking. I'm not. I get to bed, dude. I put my tablet on. I even put on the fucking Bluetooth speaker, crank it so I can hear that classic Tuck, that Tuck voice, dude.
No, but I think there's Burke and Fauci since the riots and the protesting kind of died down. Now they've starting to put their 2 cents out there, and they're basically like, "This is a nightmare."
Yeah, and they're kind of like, "Shut up,
Scenario.
white people! You don't have a voice. This is our time."
Yeah.
Hey, go log
up.
into Netflix.
Fauci,
Why don't you go log into Netflix, dude?
Well, I've seen people unironically posting about that whole if there's a rise in COVID cases, it's going to be due to poor testing. They're pretty much blaming it all on Trump, not because of these protests.
And now Trump came out today and he's like, "We will not rename military bases because they were named after Confederates." He's like, "We're not doing it. We're not doing it. You can't make me." Blah 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 blah. As he chooses a black, the first 4-star black general to his chief of staff with a 99-0, good to go, first time ever.
Well, it's just that was never serious. Those demands were never serious. They just want more fodder because they know Trump is not going to do that. So it just gives them something to be like, this asshole.
It does make me a little concerned about the election.
I would be concerned.
It's either going to be really good for Trump, and this is scaring just a very silent majority, kind of like the first thing, or this is like some real deal shit.
No, listen to me. Candace Owens just red-pilled about fucking 85 million people.
Yeah,
that thing is like over 100 million views.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, on Facebook.
As of yesterday, the day before is 82, 85. But It's got to be close to over 100 million with all the other people sharing it and stealing it. Plugging it in YouTube.
That's close to Zoobox numbers. Don't worry, she'll get someday. She'll get there.
I think it's something that people are. This is the loudest voices in the room. It's the minority. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
You look at when Hillary was
it's not.
Yeah, but you're not listening. It's more than just the average person.
God,
These people are in control. These people are in control of culture. The things that influence culture the most, they are taking control. You gotta go look.
Sean. Tell the Ashton Kutcher.
You gotta go look up what just happened at the New York Times. The
What
New
did
York Times
Ashton Kutcher
is a paper of fucking record, and you need to look into it and see what is going on at the New York Times because that is about to happen at every newspaper across the country. I'm just saying.
Fire the chief of staff or whatever, or they made him step down.
They're cleaning house for their editors. All of the older writers have to basically meet a litmus test by a 25-year-old fucking fresh out of college millennial. So to make sure that board, their feelings are not offended.
Well, I think something just happened in another. I don't know what the company is, but people are getting upset because the company was. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know my culture wars.
And also Vogue, the editor, the person who's been the editor of Vogue for like 35 years, 40 years, just stepped down and had to like apologize for everything they've ever done.
Yeah, good.
And they had to step down. If I had to step down, I'd be like, "Fuck you! I'm not apologizing for shit. I'm going to my mansion, bitch."
They wouldn't have got the settlement, and they had to sign an NDA, and that they had to do a public apology. I fucking guarantee you.
That's possible for sure.
Because I would tell you right now, you pay me fucking.
Yeah, but how are they going to arrest?
I won't ever talk again, baby. You'll never see him on Zoom.
I hate
again.
my white skin.
No, it's like I really do.
We should unironically make a video.
Dude, Bernie Mac, make a Bernie Mac remake.
Sit in a dark lit room with a big bright light on us and talk about how we hate our whiteness. And
no, dude,
we should all change our Facebook pictures to powder. You know the movie Powder?
Yes.
I guess I just found our thumbnail, boys.
No, but talcum powder.
No, you've seen the movie Powder. He's like just a albino guy. He got struck by lightning.
Yes.
Somebody else. Scotty knows.
Scotty knows. There's got to be an answer, and I think the answer is this: Candace Owens. Now, let me explain.
President.
No, I mean, no. This is what you're talking about, like this counterculture shift or this counter shift to like getting rid of the old, old people in these industries. Candace Owens is the answer to that. She's counterculture, and this is the loudest people in the room. And like, good, let them have.
I love her so much.
Hold on, I'm obviously using a little bit of conjecture, but like this is going to die. There's a reason why Jordan Peterson, a fucking a 50-something-year-old white dude, fucking took the world by storm through his ideas. And it's going to be idea-based and then action-based.
Yeah, but that's not a good thing, Dan.
No, it is an excellent thing because
it's
what
not,
we're showing is that good ideas can spread just as easily as bad ideas. They both work. It both works, and we have a lot of good ideas.
You do not want people. The reason why papers of record and stuff are important, because in a perfect world, the way it's supposed to be, is you're supposed to be able to go there for unbiased information. Because regular people are biased. Okay, so when we start ceding all our information and all of our perspectives to people like Candace Owens, now we're just in an ideological battle.
We're obviously, dude. Like, listen.
I'm just using her as a stand. I'm using her as a stand-in for everybody.
What has she done that is so bad?
Dude, I don't keep it all in my brain.
Well, dude, you sound like a liberal right now. Okay, I want fucking facts. I want to know. No,
show me the facts. What has she done that's so great, Dan?
Well, honestly, she started Blexit. which was a really cool movement about
Yeah.
black people exiting the Democratic Party because, you know, of all the bad things.
Yeah,
The
but you
Democrats
don't-
are looking at the cities all over the place. I think it's a movement that people don't want to recognize, but I do believe there is a silent majority of people in the United States that are going to vote for Trump. Because
I'm gonna-
if you go out there today and say you're going to vote for Trump, you're lambasted, you're hated.
Well, now I have to.
Your comments are doctored and made it look like you did something a certain way, said something a certain way. You know, you put on blackface fucking 16 years ago. Speaking of the Bon Appetit guy, it wasn't even blackface. They put fucking, it was brown face. It was Puerto Rican. They tried to look Puerto Rican. And a Halloween jest in 2004 or
Yes.
some shit.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
come on.
Some ridiculous shit. Dan just got canceled. He's like literally for audio
Yeah,
listeners. He literally just got sucked into a toilet.
A white hand
Was
pulled
it
you
loud?
into it.
Was it loud?
In a funny way.
Okay, good, because that really hurt my back, honestly.
Hurt me, boy.
You guys ever sneeze so hard that you hurt your back? That's how
Back,
you know.
yeah. I've done a pull. I've pulled my back, yeah.
That's right.
Also.
Dude, I can't control it anymore. Did
It's
you
been
hear
better
that?
now since I've like lost weight and stuff, and I'm not like such a fat fuck. It's like the
got
danger of that
picked
is a
up.
lot. The danger of that's a lot less, but yeah.
Listen, we need to start our own movement, guys.
Dude, I'm trying. Okay.
No, but dude,
we are in a cultural moment right now where what we're doing here is actually something people want. So
no.
Yes.
Well, I mean, like, dude,
Well,
do
listen,
now
think.
we're more
So
of
do
a
think.
target. We're target.
to our listeners, if you
Like,
guys
share,
wanna,
subscribe.
if you like, share, subscribe, of course. But if you're supporting Lord of the Rings or cancel culture, just fuck off. Honestly,
Stop. No, don't.
not a masterpiece. And if guess what, that's for you. That's for you, Littell.
Enough.
My
All right, I'm
buddy,
kicking it off. I'm kicking him off. Where's the
my
button?
buddy. Listen,
Cancel.
my buddy Littell, dude, he is listening to every episode all the way from one, and he's going straight on. He just got to the Lord of the Rings, and he's like, how did you combine Lord of the Rings and masturbating in the same episode? This is amazing. So he's like, this is
Oh,
great.
that's right.
So we might. I don't know if we have a super fan, but I did want to give him a plug, honestly, because he's got a Twitch channel, and I told him I would.
Okay, sure, yeah.
You know, maybe Shaun, you can throw it down in the subsection if that's not too hard or whatever
Yeah.
that's called.
Send me the link.
Yes. The link to it, how you spell it, is AVENGEFULL Avengeful TV. And he plays a lot of WoW, which I know Ryan used to play some WoW. And this dude's good, man. He's good.
This guy
Got
ain't no joke.
pedophiles on there.
No joke.
Oh, yeah.
I
Ryan
had a
got married.
relationship with like a 45-year-old woman
Yep.
when I was 11.
Masturbating.
Beautiful.
I feel like, did we ever tell that story on here? We must
I
have.
think so. Yeah.
Well, all right. Listen, I give it 6 months, 7 months, whenever the election. If Trump wins this election, this is all gonna die.
Dude, this
It's
is
all gonna die.
I disagree. I think we're headed for a really fucking crazy election season.
Yeah,
like,
but-
it's gonna be violent.
There
You
will be
know,
a point
shit
where
happening all the time now.
shit's gonna swing back.
We're pandemicking. Okay, there's COVID's out there.
Be a big
COVID
old
will-
dick.
It's gonna be worse in the fall. So if we spike in the summer and then it just gets worse in the fall, you seriously got to think about that. We might
covered.
hit. We
I'm
might
covered.
hit 500,000 a million deaths by the end of the year. Never know.
And then guess what? We can blame it on black people like we do everything else. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night now. Thanks
No,
for-
but I mean, this is what the context of the future relationship with this movement is going to be. Is if let's say we do lose a shit ton of people, that is going to not look good for this movement. And the problem is the difference between a movement and an oppressive regime. This has become oppressive. It's denying my right to be able to watch Gone with the Wind and see a traditional black actress.
Only on HBO Max. It is available
Yeah.
everywhere else.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of those
Yeah.
things where I log in and it's like, you know what, man? You know what? I'm not ashamed of being white. I was talking to my buddy, Big Mike. Big Mike, he's a big fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? Big fucking Mike is a good fucking guy, and we're having a conversation. And he is African American, and he was telling me about how his brother, who is also obviously African American, I guess they could be adopted. It's not
What a
trying to be
twist.
racist. Yeah, another twist. But he was kicked. He was fired from his police department because his white partner shot a armed black man.
Yeah.
Okay. an armed black man. So they both got fired from their police department, no longer work in law enforcement. Okay, cool, right? And then I'm talking to him the other day. He's like, listen, dude, I walk around the richest, nicest neighborhoods every fucking day, and no one says a word to me. He's like, I don't fucking know what people are talking about. He's like, I've never felt that a day in my life. He's like, yeah, I've heard racist shit, but he's like, but I'm not a bitch. And I'm not going to fucking like, he's like, I'm not a bitch and I'm going to fucking get mad because some dude who's half my fucking size and, 18 shades, lesser than my complexion get upset about it. He's like, I move on with my fucking life and I grow the fuck up and I try to take care of my family and I'm not getting to get in some fucking altercation with some fucking dude who decided to be ignorant.
Well, this is just I think it's because people have readjusted over the past 10 years to be on like the what do you call it? Oppression Olympics, the oppression hierarchy. So
no,
everybody,
I'm a veteran, guys.
I know, dude. You got a lot of claim.
I'm the most oppressed.
You
out of anybody.
Right now, in
this group, I'm more oppressed than all of you.
No, that's not true because I'm married and I have a kid. I am the most oppressed.
Well, Shaun, you might be right, actually, honestly.
You're about, I would say, a month away from Born on the 4th of July Tom Cruise look. I think you should get a wheelchair. You should get a wheelchair. Get a wheelchair, and then you just go out. You say, "Get away from me, mama."
Should I go down to the
Get
bar?
away from me.
Go down to the bar with
you fucking people. You don't understand. You don't fucking understand.
That's
Big Mike. Big Mike.
USA.
Come carry me, Big Mike.
Born on the 4th of July is actually the name of the movie.
I'm singing a song.
Yeah, but some Springsteen though.
I guess in my last comments, because Ryan got a big boy job now, he got to put his big boy pants on in the morning, which we appreciate. Thank you for your actions that you do every day within the.
It's sort of service, even though you're white.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan, you got there. Your dad dead, but that's not as bad as you know what I mean? Because you had a dad for a little while.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was cool.
Then his dad died.
I had him the longest though.
Technically, Mom had him. Now, actually, Nana and Grandpa had him the longest.
Yeah, but they're dead. Mom, fingers crossed. But
that's all I got to say. I just say, hey, dude, I'm an American. I love Americans. Even if I disagree with you, you can hate me for my skin color. Bro, only love in my heart, baby. No hatred in here.
Zubox is
just don't talk shit about my lady. I'm gonna make her divorce that British motherfucker and come to the real red-blooded American. Okay?
Yeah. No, I mean we are a free speech oriented podcast. I think everybody on the show we feel that is probably, other than the Second Amendment, maybe the most important one because it's the one that allows us to articulate why the other ones are important. And we we support people's right to protest even when we disagree. I mean, we've talked about that. We are into individual liberty. I hope a cop sees this, just comes in and breaks your door down and kills you. Lockless warrant, bitch.
To be captured on film, and I'm like, hands up, don't shoot. They get confused, and then I kill them.
No, it's.
Oh my god.
I mean, but that's what we are. We're very much, individualists. We believe in the individual integrity and liberty of a person, and we always treat people that way. So we a lot of laughs, a lot of gaffes, a lot of goofing around on the show.
A lot of spiciness.
At the end of the day, we judge you on the content of your character.
Shaun.
Yeah.
Shaun. Are you about to end this?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Ryan. You haven't got your last word. See,
Ryan,
Shaun, you're fucking rude. I don't
fucking cater to honkies. Some of these vanilla boys.
Right. Why don't you tell me how you feel about this from your nurse perspective? Do you mistreat black people? Do you think? You know what? Actually, Ryan, this is an interesting question. Before we really do get off, I was reading an article, probably written by a black guy, and he said that when black patients are being treated, they generally think that they have a higher pain threshold because of the years of oppression. Dude, listen, I'm not even kidding. This is a thing that I read somewhere, but not years of oppression, but that they have a higher pain threshold. That's how they end up dying more in hospitals. So when you treat a black patient, do you think they can take more? Have you tested this? Can you test this theory? Is that unethical?
I'd say that's pretty unethical. I have not tested this theory.
No, but have you ever heard something like that? Something.
Well, the thing that I've heard with the protests and stuff, there's a prominent individual on Instagram who has a nurse page, and he's a black guy, and he said that there's systemic racism in the nursing profession, generally perpetrated by white older women.
Oh,
So-
Karens.
You're
Yeah,
safe.
Karens.
You're safe. You're
We
safe.
gotta-
But I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any mistreatment of patients or anything like that. I think when you get to a point, maybe, I mean, obviously people become jaded to things, but specifically in my unit, I mean, you see people the most vulnerable that a human being could be in, so you tend to look at their humanity first, hopefully, at least I do, before I look at shit like that.
Yeah.
So
I know. I just thought that was interesting that they were trying to say that's an example of systemic racism within our country. That like more black mothers die in childbirth.
I've never heard that. I've heard that about
look into it.
Hispanic community because they
Look it up.
generally don't show their emotions, supposedly.
Whoa.
Culturally, because it's a cultural thing.
Culturally,
Dude, guys, listen. Honestly, I've been watching a lot of the first 48 because Cops is gone. What am I gonna watch? Where am I gonna get my kicks now?
Yeah, we're gonna watch the white trash get chased down dirt roads.
Dude,
now.
seriously though, there's a lot of white trash. Okay, first 48 is about 95% black though. We are gonna be real about that. I don't know how no one's called that one out yet. 95% black is on there. There is no other. I'm serious. Every episode. And I don't know what that says about the creators of that show or the producers. I don't know what that says.
I'm sure they will be canceled. All
I don't know if
crime-related
they-
shows
I
are
don't
gonna
know-
be canceled because it.
I don't know if they would
puts
have a show.
disparaging
Honestly,
light
so.
on people of color. I'm sure that's going to be the route they
The
take.
first 48, season 22, only white people. It's 2 episodes long. I'm kidding. It's terrible.
Well, if you don't have the material, what are you gonna do?
Hey, okay, we're probably gonna get canceled after this, but guess what? Fuck you guys. We don't care. This is America, and if we get pulled off of iTunes, don't worry. You'll find us at our website. Maybe.
Yeah, our website. You'll find me at the web zones. We're gonna do this by mail. Send people tapes.
www.zb.
I will not be silent.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks
love
for
you guys.
listening. Thank you for listening. It's been another week, another Zoo Box, another good time. A lot of laughs, gasps, a lot of spiciness, a lot of right opinions. At least, especially when they came out of my mouth. When you hear those things.
Right leaning.
Dan is definitely a fucking right wing nut job. Look at him. Look at this fucking guy. Ryan's like, Ryan, you look like you could be a Nazi because there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Nothing that says your personality. Now me, you might think I'm an SJW.
What do you mean? Look at the switch.
By this stuff. Gamer boy.
I mean, I'm
confirmed.
just saying, guys, I got cowboy shit. I got fucking veteran shit. I got fucking artsy shit.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I'm
classy.
just saying that.
I got ASC supplements. You go to the ASCsupplements.com
That's
and
okay.
you do a ZB20 for 20% off on your order. Good
Yeah.
subs.
Gives
subs.
you the shits. Feel great.
Yeah. Honestly.
Gotta get that stuff out, that evil out of you. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week.
Wait. No, I'm just kidding. Goodbye, guys. I just wanted to get one more time. Huh?